Hey guys, welcome back to my shop and welcome back to another Flea Market Finds episode, or more correctly, this is a tool pick, machinist tool pick episode, and this all is stuff that I picked from a metal engraving and stamping shop that is relocating and was selling off a lot of their surplus or no longer needed merchandise. So I actually got in kind of late on this pick. I kept hearing about all the stuff that I had missed out on, apparently, that either was thrown in the dumpster or bought by someone else. But I did get quite a good deal here. So this is from March of this year, 2023. And this is a item right here that I got for a real song. So I ended up, all in all, the total spend was $400. And I don't remember exactly what I paid for what, but I ended up getting a really good deal. And this started with a very simple advertisement regarding some magnetic chucks, which we'll get to in a moment. But for starters, let's look at this nice surface plate that was sitting there on the bench. Doesn't have a cover, but it seems to be like it's in pretty decent shape. And I don't see any big chunks taken out of it. And you can just make out from the label here, what's left of the label, that this is a black granite surface plate, brown and sharp, North Kingston, Rhode Island. So kind of cool. In case you're wondering, it is a 12 by 18. So I may keep that one for myself. It's a nice little size I can manage. Doesn't take up too much room on the bench. And when I'm not using it, something I can do with this that you can't do with a lot of surface plates. Just pick it up and take it away. So these are the mag chucks that they had advertised, and when I got there, I put together a package deal and paid one money for all of them. And I think the only one that I passed on while I was there was there was a fairly large electromagnetic model. That's the one that actually has a separate control box with a cable that runs to it, and you can vary the magnetic power of the magnetic force with a knob. And I guess that was a pretty expensive one new, so I couldn't get that one for the kind of deal I could get on these other ones. But just to give you an example, this one here doesn't have a name on it, but it's probably a walker because all these other ones are walkers. So what this is this is a 6x6 magnetic chuck, and you just put a hex key in here and turn this to turn these on and off. Pretty simple design, really. So what we can do is, this one is currently off. I happen to have, here's a block, so you can see not on, and then we just turn this, and now that's fully on. So now I can actually pick the weight up of the whole vise, no problem. And we just turn this back. A lot easier to turn this with the Allen key that's got a 90 degrees on it, obviously. I actually turned it back too far. So that's one. And I just sold this one for $70. And I'm gonna have to ship it though. So that's the only pain about those, but at least they're 6x6, they're pretty compact. So these are, you're probably looking at these wondering, what the heck's the deal with these? Okay, so these are the same thing I just showed you, the 6x6s, right? It's also got the fences on it like the last one. But what's different about this one is this big block. All they did was they screwed these down to these huge blocks with these really long, with cap screws through here. So why is this like this? Well, the reason why is because these were actually mounted upside down in an EDM machine. They had several EDM machines. They had actually begun to scrap some of them. And so these were actually being used in EDM machines mounted upside down. Kind of weird. I've never seen anything like that. So all I got to do is take these big blocks of aluminum off, and I'll keep those as scrap here in the shop for some project or something. Huh. You know, I thought this was aluminum, but it's too heavy. Even though it's a thick block, it's still too heavy to be aluminum. got a stainless alloy, I guess. Oh yeah, I just put it down on the concrete, and when I did that, I noticed the sound. Well, it had a little bit of a ring to it. So there we go. Nice little 6x6 mag chuck. This one still has the original Walker label on it, so it makes me think that these are all Walkers. But this one, you can see the remnants of the milling that was done on the bottom of this. I think this may originally have had a larger base with the grooves in it to toe clamp it down, maybe, I'm not sure. Still has the fences on it, which is nice. And the last one of the mag chucks in the grouping was this one right here. It's a little bit larger one. So this is a 6x12, I believe. I'm sorry, it's a 6x10 with the fences. And this is a Suburban tool. So this is actually probably a little more valuable because, well, it is a little larger, but mainly because it's a Suburban tool, and that's a name I think that's probably, you know, better known nationally. These Walker ones were made right here in Worcester, Massachusetts, oddly enough, where this company was from. Alrighty. Let's get these off the bench and show you the other stuff. Everything that is in this box was also included in this pick. A Lixie hammer with a really broken end here, but these ends are, ooh, a nasty little spider there. Anyways, these are replaceable. They just unscrew. I actually have some brand new replacements for these. I don't know if I have them for that size, but anyways, I like these Lixie hammers, but I have too many of them. But you know, these were pretty much thrown in for free. Here's a last word that is a little slow because it's you know, been sitting for a while, but my experience has shown me that these tend to clean up and are easy to fix. So when I mean slow, I mean that you can see the dial move slowly, but it doesn't hang up. So it actually seems okay. Lots of times they'll be better in one direction than the other. See, that seems a little quicker. But the dial's really nice and clean. The crystal's in good shape. And this is the thousandths resolution model, the .001, the 711, the very common one. And the less common one that you run into every once in a while is the tenths version, which is .0001. There was a box of junk, a bunch of metal and stuff just piled in this box on the floor. I happened to spot this vise, and I said, "What's the story with this?" And he explained to me that was the scrap. So anything that was thrown in those boxes was on its way to be. They have a scrap guy who comes in and picks the stuff up and hauls it away. So I rescued this nice little grinding vise from the scrap pile. I don't see anything wrong with this. It's in great shape. I'm just shocked that this was being thrown out. And when he saw that I wanted this, he said, "Oh, it was the old, oh, too bad you hadn't come here earlier." Apparently, it's thrown out quite a few of these. So no maker's name anywhere to be found on this, but still, it's a nice little vise. Not one, but two 6-inch Brown and Sharp dial calipers. Dirty, no cases, but both of them seem to be in perfect working condition. This thing. Pulled this out of the scrap bin. Apparently, this is part of a pantograph machine that they got rid of. So I don't know if it's going to have any practical use to anybody. So it looks like maybe some sort of a cutter or something would mount onto here. I don't know. And then this has got almost like an indexing ability to it. So this is almost like a draw tube, maybe? No. I don't know. You release this, and then this whole thing this is the lock. Release that, and this will do this. So you can lock this in any one of these positions. And then there's a scale here, so you can tilt this in degrees. So I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that. I just couldn't Couldn't stand to see that in the scrap pile. Steve, you are one sick individual. Oh, this was with, found this in there too. I think this actually goes on here maybe? No. Oh, this is another, I think this is another wheel. I think you can take this wheel off and put this wheel on maybe. Yeah, see this has got little serrations that this thing locks into at different positions. So. Fly cutter. Another last word. Older one by the looks of it. This one actually moves much more freely. They had a bench up against the wall and they had everything on the bench was available, and I just put together the whole lot. This is a nice little gauge block set. It's missing 1, 2, 3. 3 blocks. These are the ones that you can actually screw them together with these little studs. So the way this works is, if you want to hold these together, you take one of these studs and you screw that in like that. And then you can take another one and voila. Chinesium by the looks of it. Oh yeah, right there. Made in China. This is a space block set. So this is what NASA uses.
Big league, China.
I can just make out Meditoyo here. Oh, dial thickness gauge. I know what this is. Oh yeah, cool. So I've had these before. In fact, I just recently sold off 2 or 3 of these, but I've never had one that was this deep.
Look at that. Isn't that nice?
Here's a nice Brown and Sharp 749A V-block. It's got some damage here. It's interesting. This slot is symmetrical on both sides. I don't remember that being on these though. So that's why I thought it was damaged, but anyways, it was only one. Then there was this nice little V-block. Unfortunately, this one is missing the hold down. No maker's mark on that one. There was this little indicator holder here, this miniature one. It's magnetic. It's got the little fine adjust here. And then it's got one of these type of deals here where when you loosen this whole thing becomes limp and can move into any position you want. All kinds of different positions. And then once you get it where you want it, you tighten this up. And it stays disappointingly flaccid. Not exactly for your heavy duty work, but for something like one of these last words, it's a small light indicator. Oh, that's interesting. That last word, the whole head here is loose. So that's gonna be no good. This looks like a case for the last word, and there's another last word in it. Okay, great. And while we're on the subject, let's check out the last one here. And another last word. Oh, this one actually has, it's a last word case, but this has a last word knockoff by Dual. This is an MHC branded counter. All this is a mechanical counter. So this would be placed on a machine maybe, or some other device that they needed to keep count of how many times the machine did whatever it does. So every time this lever moves, it just counts. This is a great little device right here. This is a optical center finder. So the way this little slice of heaven works is if you want to put a center punch mark very precisely on your layout lines, you take this little block right here and you take this little optical objective lens, you stick it in here like this, and then you move this around looking down through the crosshairs until you put the crosshairs precisely over your layout lines. Then, while holding this so it can't move, you pull out your objective lens, you insert this little center punch, give it a tap, and voila. I would keep this, but I already have one, so And this is a electronic height offset doohickey. So the way this works is you put batteries in here and there's a bulb inside here. And when there's an electrical connection made between this outer case and this center part right here, the light will light. So if there were batteries in this and the bulb was good right now, oh actually, son of a gun, it's actually still got batteries in it and it's working. So the idea is you put this down on top of your vise or your fixture or whatever it is you have in your CNC machine. You bring your tool down till it just touches the top of this. And at that point, you will know that the tip of your tool is precisely X height above the table, which whatever this is, which I think this is, what is this? 2 inches. I also got these two Brown and Sharp magnetic transfer blocks. They're a little beat up, but they actually still work perfectly fine. So the way these work, they only appear to be slightly magnetic when you turn them on, or not tremendously strong. Part of that's because they actually work by transferring a lot of the magnetic power from the mag chuck underneath it. This one's a little bit better, a little bit nicer shape. It's model 255 and it's got the two little fences on it. And this one's a little rougher. I also picked up not one, but 2 hand grinders. This one is a model I've never seen before. It's a Craftsman commercial hand grinder. This is a model number 315.25841. It says 24,000 RPM though, so it's suspiciously like a Dumore. Again, I got these really cheap, and part of what I liked about this one is it's got this foot-operated pedal for varying the speed. So if you've ever owned one of these grinders, it's actually recommended that you don't turn them on at full speed right away, that you actually run them a little slower and let the bearings warm up before you hit it full power. So might as well try this right now. Alright, let's see what's happening. Let's try this plug directly in. Alright, so apparently that's broken. That's unfortunate. The other one here is a Fordham. It's one of these cable drive models. You actually hang it near the workbench from this clamp, and then you've got this flexible cable that is used to drive the handheld piece. Now there's some other stuff in here, so oddly enough I don't think I actually have the hand piece for this, but the reason why I still wanted this is because a while back I got something called a dip profiler or a die profiler, a little Swiss hand operated die grinder, and I believe it uses one of these as the power source. This is something, so it's the Manode, I can't quite make it out, marking products of Cleveland, Ohio. This appears to be an air-driven tool, maybe? So that was just thrown in here with this stuff. This is a, this looks like either a vice stop for on the mill or an indicator stand or something. And then looks like we've got a couple of, yeah, I see two more drive cables in here for the Fordham, and then what looks like another hose maybe for another one of these air-driven ones. Huh. Alright, let's try the foot switch with the Fordham. So it's already on. Well, that's interesting. Ow! Alright, let's try this directly plugged in. Okay, so looks like maybe both of these are broken. Play with those some other time.
All the time.